You commit crimes against humanity, and you deny the sick and suffering a medicine that could heal them or save their lives. That's murder. No matter how you cut the cake, that is outright murder. And that's what these governments have been doing, and it's time for it to come to an end. So what are these laws and regulations that we're following? This is just man-made nonsense, is all it is. Let's start following God's law for a change. And let's start following common law. Because under common law, growing cannabis is not a crime, and it should never have been made a crime. This is your natural right to grow and use this plant, and especially for medicinal purposes. And no one has the right to tell you you can't do that. Official medicine, for the most part, you're still seeing the synthetic cannabinoids. The Dronabinol, Marinol. Synthetic cannabinoids that actually, too, they present a danger to the public. But the natural cannabinoids from the plant itself, they've never harmed anyone. So why are we putting up with this? And today, and you hear it in North America all the time, Kmart cannabis. Well, see, the governments in North America, what they want, like in Canada, they've given out, I think, over 40 licenses now to these different companies to produce cannabis extracts. But they're not allowing anyone to produce the real RSO. They have very low THC levels and very low cannabinoid levels, period. So these extracts simply do not have the healing abilities. And on top of that, with Monsanto trying to get their foot in the door, which they've already started in a pretty big way, they want to put the genetically modified cannabis seeds out there. And why do we need genetically modified cannabis? I mean, when you look at the healing powers of these strains, these medicinal strains that are already available, why in God's green earth do we need genetic modification? We need the old strains, the same strains we've been growing for thousands or hundreds of thousands of years. This is where the magic is, the real strains, the real cannabis. Well, Dr. Michelin himself has always said the entourage effect, all these different cannabinoids working together. But, the drug companies, they want to produce all of these different extracts from all of these different cannabinoids, make more money, because that's all they're about. They want more money. I've always called it the synergetic effect of these different cannabinoids working together, and that's what works the magic. And that's the reason these extracts that I brought to the public's attention are so effective in the treatment of so many different diseases. So, I encourage everyone to, stay away from genetic modification and stay away from anything that the government is promoting, because they're in bed with the big money. The big money is controlling them. The big money wants genetic modification. So I wouldn't trust any government as far as I could throw them. But you see, all of these companies, they want to sell it for $100 or $200 a gram because they're greedy and they want the money. But, we should not be subjected to this kind of nonsense. It is our right, like I said, it's our natural right as human beings to grow and use this plant. And once we start doing that, people will find that basically they can produce their own medicine for practically nothing. The medical system and the pharmaceutical industry, they want to complicate it to death. Don't go out in the backyard with a rice cooker and, make your own medicine. Oh, that's dangerous. And I mean, if you want to grow 500 plants in your backyard or 5,000, I don't care. You're not harming anyone. It's like I said, as long as you're not trafficking, you're not harming anyone. Yeah. If you want to make a lifetime supply of medicine and grow 1,000 plants in your backyard, and grow, and get a great big jar full of this wonderful healing substance, who has the right to tell you you can't do that? And if every home had a nice big jar of cannabis extracts, right in their own home for, when kids get infections or cuts, or it's just endless. Everybody should be taking these extracts every day, small amounts, to protect their health. So I just don't see any future for anyone who is standing in the way, of the use of this medicine. People sitting around popping pharmaceutical pills and drinking alcohol, and they're making the decisions. Oh, you shouldn't get high. What's wrong with, smoking a joint and relaxing? It's medicinal. And I mean, I'd sooner see people, smoke a joint in the evening to relax rather than take pills or take alcohol. That just makes sense. But I do look at the smoking aspect as the least medicinal way to use this plant. The extracts that you can produce from this plant, that's where the real healing magic is. Ingesting the raw, unburned cannabinoids right into your body. That's when the magic happens. So, as far as I'm concerned, everything about cannabis is medicinal. It's time to turn the plant free. It's time for the people on this planet to set themselves free. And cannabis is the only way you can do that. We can save ourselves, We can all live a much more healthy lifestyle. And we can detoxify this planet and use it in so many different ways to fulfill practically all our needs. We don't need their fossil fuels. We don't need their damn nuclear power plants. And we don't need these big factories that are producing nothing but poison. You know, it's time to get away from this. And this is how we can save the earth.